Greetings, friend. How are you doing today? I have a question for you. Have you ever had a time when things go, unwanted things happen, and then it seems like it goes from just bad to worse to even worse? And it happened in the most inconvenient times. It happened with me yesterday. I was sitting at home working on my computer, and I noticed that and I have a laptop. I noticed that even though the computer is plugged in completely, that the battery will not charge 100%. It stays at like 97, 98%, which is really weird. And it has this symbol here on it. And I'm like, what is this all about? And so I click on the battery and I check it out, and it says battery needs service. I said, okay, well, that's not good. Battery needs service. And this is, hi Judy, hi Maya, thank you for joining. So I look at the laptop, and it says battery needs service. And this is like in the afternoon. And I said, good afternoon, Judy. How are you doing today? And I was like, this is so inconvenient. The MacBook battery needs service, and I have plenty of things to do during for the rest of the day and actually into the evening, because I have a presentations early in the morning today. And I was like, oh my goodness, the laptop battery needs service. So I was like, okay, take a deep breath, and I called Apple, and Apple says, well, bring it to the store. And I was like, yeah, right. The Apple store is in the mall. And it's holiday time. So I said, okay. And I tried to make an appointment, and I call and I said, okay, let me make an appointment. And they make me an appointment, which is not at a time I prefer anyway. It's later in the evening. But so I got an appointment. I'm grateful I got an appointment. I went to the store, and first thing I went to the mall. The first thing I noticed was, for even though I intend the best and everything, I could not get a parking close to the door. And that is very unusual for me nowadays, where I typically, even in the busiest mall or Costco or wherever during holiday time, I'm able to get really, really awesome parking, like right across the door. And I say, well, that's interesting, but okay, I'm just going to go in and to go to the Apple store and have them fix my battery, and everything will be good. Or so I thought. And I went to the Apple store, and they said, well, okay, well, your appointment, I was told the appointment was at 7:30. And they're like, well, your appointment's not until like some 20 minutes later. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Here's the email that has the appointment time. And they're like, yeah, but not in our book. In our book, it's later. And actually, we're running behind. So it'll be about a 45 minutes wait. And I said, oh dear. And I still have things to do at home for my presentations this morning. So I took a deep breath. I'm like, okay, is there any way that I can be seen right now or on time or something? Like, no. You just got to wait. And if it would take you in as a walk-in, it's gonna be an hour wait. It's like, okay, took a deep breath. And then the person also says, it's like, so it's your laptop battery, but don't worry, we'll take care of you, and we'll take care of your laptop. It definitely will take care of everything. Those things are simple things. At the worst scenario, I said, okay, yeah, tell me the worst scenario, because by now I was like, and tell me the worst scenario. So like, at the worst scenario, it's going to be just a few $100. I was like, a few $100, okay. Yeah, it'll be less than 500. Okay, well, that's some change there. Oh, and then, we'll keep your computer for 3 to 6 days, and then you got it back like new. And I say, you need to keep my computer for 3 to 6 days? What am I going to do in this meantime? All my work is on my computer. She's like, oh, it might not be that bad. Just sit down. Just take a seat. Minutes. So I went there. I went to where they're sitting in the Apple store, and I sat down there, and I could tell that I was sliding down the rabbit hole, to say the least. I was breaking out. I was like, oh my God, no computer for 3 to 6 days. What am I going to do with my presentation? Blah, blah, blah. And then now the time I didn't know it's running later and later, and I have things to do. And I could just tell that I was like sliding down the rabbit hole in a very undesirable way. And thankfully, I have been trained by my mentor, Mary Morrissey, so well to notice my state from moment to moment. And so once I sat down, I'm like, oh God, and I notice that I'm freaking out. I start to like, oh my God, I'm getting very irritated by the Apple stores that has different appointment time and all this thing and everything else. And then I was freaking out by all these other things about my computer and the cost and on. And I noticed all those, and I said, okay, pause, hit the pause button. Okay, stop, push my internal pause button and stop there and took a deep breath. All right, now I noticed that I was freaking out, and I can choose if I want to continue to freak out and get into a nowhere land with this and getting upset at people who's trying to help me, or I can shift my energy completely. And this whole week, strangely enough, thank you for joining, friend. This whole week, strangely enough, I've been sharing with you on how to have a stress-free, joyful, peaceful holiday seasons, regardless of what's happening outside of us. So I said, all right, let's practice what I was sharing here. So, okay, I'm going to choose, regardless what happening, I push the pause button, and I'm going to choose that I am going to stay relaxed, to stay grateful, and to stay at ease, and to find, as I shared yesterday, actually, to see what's amusing thing that I could have around me sitting in the Apple store. Now, I'm not very, I'm not an electronic geek, so to say, so I don't find the new equipment or anything amusing, but I love people watching. So I said, well, I'm sitting in the Apple store, so I start looking at their screen that has all these interesting coordinations of products, and then I look around and I start people watching and find it amusing. Some people are very, very happy being there. Some people very stressed. Some people very confused. And I was like, oh, okay, this is amusing. This is interesting. This is entertaining. So find something amusing immediately that can entertain us. And then I'm also practicing gratitude. I'm like, at least they said my computer can be saved. In the worst scenario, now all my data's already back up, and I'll have my computer back like new in 3 to 6 days in the worst scenario. And yes, it costs it might cost a few $100s, but at least it's something that I'm able to do. So I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful that I am able to have an Apple store very close to my home. It's less than 15 minutes away. And so I'm grateful. So I was like, I find something. And then, of course, by choosing that, when we choose to do that, finding something amusing that can lift our mood immediately and go to gratitude where we can feel better immediately, it will get us to immediately into a different state. And so I say, well, I got to sit here for another 40 minutes anyway, so what can I do right now? And I'm like, I have my computer here with me, and I need, yeah, Judy, isn't that funny how that works? And I need to do some work anyway. So I took out my laptop. I need to work anyway, so I took out my laptop, and little did I know that the Apple Store is fully wireless enhanced. In other words, I was working there using the internet and everything like nothing, as if I was at home. I was able to do my work solidly for 40 minutes, so much so that at the 40 minutes time, I'm like, oh, that's it? I didn't realize it's 40 minutes passed by. That's kind of nice. And so I got quite a bit of work done in the 40 minutes because I actually was focused. I was trying to focus and do as much work as I could. And so so they came to help me. And they said, okay, well, let's look at your computer and let's look at your laptop, see what's going on. And they run some tests, and funny how things work. They run some tests, and with Apple, you give them your telephone number, and they pull all your data. And they say, oh, well, you know what? Actually, you have a full warranty, so we can change your battery and it wouldn't cost you a thing. I said, yay, okay, that's a good place to start. Now, how soon do you need to change the battery? And they tested it and they're like, well, it's not that bad at all. I don't know what it's doing that, but I mean, you might have noticed that it wouldn't last as long on battery, but as long as you get it charged, you'll be just fine. I mean, you can last with this for another 6 months probably, or even longer. It's like, I think we catch this early, and I don't know why it's doing all this strange thing, but you're gonna be just fine using this, particularly if you can keep it charged and plug in. I said, oh really? Well, that's wonderful. And it's like, yeah, and then well, with this model and what have you, even the worst scenario, we usually will get it back within 3-4 days, not a week. I said, oh, well, not only gonna it's be free, that as long as I got it plugged in for the next couple months, where it is important for me because I'm finishing another manuscript for another book, I will be just fine. And definitely for tomorrow morning, for this morning, I will be just fine. And then that it would not take as long at all. And I was like, this is amazing, isn't this wonderful? And even better, I said, so how does this battery work? And I happened to mention about slow battery. I said, I have an older iPhone, which is this iPhone 6s here, and he told me, oh, if your iPhone 6s batteries is getting weak, that's out of warranty, so that will cost you $50. I said, oh, for an iPhone, that's pretty good, isn't it? He's like, yeah, so what you want to do is you want to back up your iPhone completely, and it will cost you $50 to change the battery, but what you want to do is make sure it's completely back up, because this is what happened. Sometimes the old iPhone will not take the new battery, and if that's happened, if your old iPhone will not take the new battery, will actually charge you $50 and give you a brand new iPhone that we have in the store. I say, really? Who sounds like a great news when my iPhone need battery. So it was so amazing on how we can choose by noticing what it is that's going on in us on moment-to-moment basis, and choose to push a pause button if we are having, we notice that we're sliding down the rabbit hole like I initially was yesterday. And then when we do that, we practice what I share with you, which is doing gratitude, and find something that can lift your mood up right away. And for me personally, it's when I notice something heartwarming, or it's something amusing and entertaining. And when we do that, we will soon notice what we can do with what we have. And when we keep doing that, before we know it, we actually will have things a lot of time, in the most amazing way. Things work out just fine for us, or even better still. For some amazing reason, I got home, and this morning I noticed that my computer charging back at 100% after not wanting to do that yesterday. So I don't know what happened much yesterday. Maybe the life was giving me a test, but the computer is seemingly doing just fine now, which is perfect. And knowing that if the battery can use a new one, I was receiving a news that for my travel next year, that I'm actually might not be able to bring my computer with me because of the country regulations. And I said, what a perfect timing. It's all work out together when my computer will be fine until February. And in February, when I'm traveling abroad to a country where I cannot take my computer, Apple can have my computer and do whatever they need to do to make it new and again. And so it's all work out together, but it was a really interesting experience for me. And I just want to share it with you in case it is that there is something in there that will inspire you or allow you to remember and to help you navigate next time you hear a bad news and things goes from bad to worse to worse to worse. That it does that even when at the beginning things bad, seemingly it doesn't has to be that way on the outcome if we're able to notice, to choose to keep our good vibration and energy, and then to do whatever it takes and maintain and continue being grateful. Just like with me, it's very possible to have an outcome that's better than we could even imagine. And that's my tip of this week, actually, is to when things going from bad to worse, to worse, to worse, let's not get trapped in there immediately, but let's just do the very best we can to stop ourselves from panicking, from going down the rabbit hole, and do gratitude, do whatever it is that could help us hold our good vibrations, and have a faith that things can just work out, and things a lot of time will work out better than we could imagine. And I thank you so much for watching. I love you very, very much. I hope you have a wonderful day, or have a wonderful rest of your day, a wonderful weekend, a wonderful holiday season, and knowing that regardless of what's going on out there, it's possible for us to continue having our good energy, good state, good vibrations, and good result at the end. And this is Bridget with From Grieving to Joyful Living. I love you very, very much, and I look forward to see you again very, very soon.